friends, welcome to Ashok IT. So we are starting new batch for RESTful services and microservices. It is completely online training. So duration 40 days, class timings 7:30 a.m. to 9 a.m. IST. Right. To attend this course, the prerequisites basics of Spring Boot and Spring MVC. Right. So yesterday we have taken a class where I have given you overview of the course, what we are going to cover as part of this course. So as part of this course, we are going to learn how to develop RESTful services using Spring with REST, and we will learn microservices also. This is the clear course content I provided in the last session, right? So as part of this, we will understand what is distributed application and what are the several technologies are available to develop distributed applications. Distributed application architecture we will learn, like what is provider, what is consumer, what is resource, what is client, we will understand. Real-time use cases for distributed applications, right? Why we need to go for these distributed applications, we'll understand. Then we'll talk about XML, XSD and JAX-D. So XML is interoperable and which is a standard format to exchange the data over a network. And interoperable means, so irrespective of the platform, irrespective of the language, applications can understand this XML format, right? Now, as a Java developer, to convert XML to Java object and vice versa, we will use JAX-B. JAX-B stands for Java Architecture for XML Binding, right? Next one, JSON. JavaScript object notation, which is lightweight and interoperable, which is became now a standard to exchange the data over a network. Now, being a Java developer, to convert a Java object to JSON and vice versa, we can use Jackson and JSON APIs. Those things we are going to cover. Then here, I will give you overview of JAX RS API. Then why we need to go with the Spring REST also we are going to understand. Then HTTP protocol methods. HTTP protocol is the backbone for our web, right? So we are going to understand the protocol very clearly. Protocol methods, protocol status codes, protocol status messages we'll understand. Then what is REST controller? Then request mapping annotations related to that REST controller methods we are going to understand, right? Request mappings, how to map a request using these annotations. Then API development, how to develop a REST API. As part of that, path parameter, query parameter, request body, response body, working with complex responses, response entity, postman, swagger, exception handling, REST client development, mono object, flux object, asynchronous calls, security. Along with this, I'm going to tell you one application with SOAP also, so that you will have idea how SOAP web services will be developed, how SOAP web services will be consumed, provider development and consumer development. So with this our web services part will be completed. With this our RESTful services concepts will be completed. After that, second part of the movie, microservices. So what is monolith architecture, drawbacks of the monolith, what is load balancer algorithms, microservices introduction, challenges of microservices, challenges of working with microservices, then advantages of microservices, microservices architecture, service registry, gateway to microservices development with the embedded database, inter-service communication using VN client, circuit breaker with Hystrix, distributed logging with Slate and Zipkin, actuators, boot admin server and admin client, cloud platforms like IaaS, SaaS, PaaS platforms. Introduction I will give. Here we are going to use two cloud platforms. One is PCF, another one is AWS. What is PCF, how to work with PCF and how to work with AWS, how to deploy microservices to cloud also. These are DevOps activities we are going to learn here. Then what is scaling, horizontal scaling, vertical scaling, auto scaling we will understand. Apache Kafka, MongoDB, config server, Redis cache, LDAP and mini project with Angular integration also we are going to cover as part of our microservices content. Fine, this is the overview of our course. So it is going to take, I am giving 40 days plus or minus 1 week will be available. So I cannot fix exactly 40 days. So if content is more, the duration will be more. So plus or minus 1 week you need to assume. If course is getting too late, then I will take sessions on the weekends also. We'll pull this fast. Right. So for the backup videos, you can check my Ashok IT channel. So I will give you the links also for that. So this is our website and our Facebook group name Tech Leads. This is my contact number 630-192-1083. People who are attending only for this rest, you can message me in the WhatsApp. This is my WhatsApp number. So I will give you the links for prerequisite videos. All right. Any questions before going to start? So today we'll start with what is distributed application and why we need distributed applications. Come on guys. Before going to start, any questions related to the content? People from the Zoom and from GoToMeet. Any questions, anybody? Yes, fine. So no problem. It is first class. Just I given yesterday we discussed about only these concepts. Duration and course content. That's it. Now you are clear with this. You can continue happily with the today's session. Let's get started. Now, what is distributed application and why we need to go for distributed application? So yesterday's session, course content overview. Course content overview I have given. Today's session we are talking about what is distributed application. What is distributed application? So today's date 30th June. Fine. Now, sir, in Java we are learning Java, we are working with the Java in our daily life, right? So using Java we can develop several types of applications. Using Java we can develop several types of applications. Using Java we can develop several types of applications. What are those? One is standalone application, that is CUI or GUI. CUI and GUI based applications. CUI and GUI based applications. Next one, web applications. And third one is distributed applications. So by using this Java programming language, we can develop several types of applications. So first category, CUI and GUI based applications. Second category, web applications. Third category, distributed applications. So total 3 types of applications we can develop by using this Java programming language. So in this Java, there are several frameworks also available like Hibernate, Spring, right? So several frameworks are also available to simplify these applications development only. To simplify these applications development, we have several frameworks in the Java community. Right now, what is CUI based application? CUI means console. CUI means console based applications. GUI means graphical user interface. Graphical user interface like swings and applets we are going to use. Swings, applets we will use to develop GUI based applications. CUI means console user interface based applications. Normal our Java program with main method. You will run that program by using command prompt. Such kind of applications are called console based applications. We can develop by using Java. Similarly, by using swings and applets, we can develop user interface applications which are also called as desktop applications. So when we develop these applications, when we develop CUI or GUI applications, when we develop these applications, every user should install these apps in their machines to use. Every user has to install these applications in their system, then only they can use it. Now the best example, our Eclipse IDE. our Eclipse is a GUI based application. Our Eclipse is a GUI based application. SOAP UI, GUI based application. GoToMeeting, it is a tool that we are downloading to join the class, right? So our Spring Tool Suite IDE is a GUI based application. So these applications we are downloading and we are installing in the system, then only we can use these applications. Such kind of applications are called as standalone applications, or they are called as desktop applications. They're called as desktop applications. So standalone applications are specific to system, specific to machine. That means if I download IDE and I will install, only I can use it. You cannot use that IDE in your system. If you want to use it, you should also download that software, you should also install in your machine, then only you can use that application. So best example, IDE, Eclipse IDE. So every one of us will use Eclipse or Spring Tool Suite, right? So these IDEs are called as standalone applications. We are downloading that software, we are installing that software, then we are using that software, that application. Such kind of applications also we can develop by using Java. By using Java Swings and Applets, we can develop such kind of desktop application also. But what is the problem? Everybody has to download, everybody has to install that application, then only they can use it. Now by using Java, we can develop this kind of standalone applications also. We can develop standalone applications also by using Java. So CUI applications, GUI applications are called as standalone applications. We need to download and we need to install these applications. When we develop these applications, every user should download and install these apps in their machines to use. Standalone applications are specific to a machine. So example, Eclipse, and we can say Microsoft Office, MS Office is specific to a system. Like this, they need to download and they need to install. Next one, using Java, we can develop web applications also. Using Java, we can develop web applications also. Now, can you tell me what is a web application? Can anybody tell me what is web application? Come on guys, I need answers. What is web application? People from Zoom, what is web application? Application which runs on the server. Very good, Kaushik. Anyone else? GoToMeet. People, what is web application? Application that runs on the server, which runs on the web server. It can be accessed from anywhere. Pankaj saying that. Yes, any application which runs on the internet, which runs with the help of the internet, that application is called as a web application. The application which hosts in the internet for global access. So any application that runs over a internet is called as a web application. The application which runs over internet is called as web application. So web application can be accessed by anybody from anywhere. Web applications no need to download and no need to install. Web applications no need to download and no need to install. Anybody can access web applications from any location using browser with internet. Web applications which runs web application, the application which runs over internet is called as web application. Web applications no need to download and no need to install. Anybody can access web applications from any location using browser with internet. Now example Gmail, Facebook, IRCTC, etc. Like this. There are several web applications are available in the market. In daily life we are going to use those applications. So such kind of web applications also we can develop by using Java. Such kind of web applications we can develop by using Java. So web application means the application which runs over a internet. The application which runs over a internet is called as a web application. Web applications no need to download and no need to install. Anybody can access web application from any location using browser with internet support. So these are some examples of our web applications which we are using in our daily life. Are you clear with this? Now, sir, how these web applications are going to execute? How these web applications are going to execute, right? First, we will develop one web application. That web application we will keep inside a server. That web application we are going to keep inside a server. That web server will be installed inside a machine. That server will be installed inside a machine. So this is called as one PC. This is one computer, remote computer. One PC. In this PC, server will be available. Inside the server, our application will be available. This is our application in the PC. Now, so every web application that we develop, we are going to keep inside a server. That server will be available in a machine. Now, here clients will be available. Multiple users will be available to access that application. Multiple users will be available to access this application, because web application means anybody can access from any location. This person can access this web application. This person also can access this web application. This person also can access this web application. These people will use browser here. These people will use a browser with internet to access this application. So this is called client server architecture. This is called as a client server architecture. So first we will develop a web application. That web application will keep in the server. That is called deployment. Web applications will be deployed to the servers and they will be exposed over the internet, so that anybody can access that web application from any location. That person is called as client. Client will use a browser and internet in order to access our web applications. Now we are using Facebook. So we did not develop that Facebook. We did not download the Facebook. Just we are accessing by using www.facebook.com. In the browser we are typing that URL and we are able to access that application. Now, so these kind of applications are called as web applications. These kind of applications are called as web applications. Now, these web applications are using for, this is customer and this is business application. So customer to business. Web applications are doing one business in the market, that is called customer to business. One customer directly communicating with the application. One customer directly communicating with the application. Such applications are called as web applications. Web applications are meant for C2B communication. Customer to business. One customer will communicate with a business application, will perform the business operation. So that's why web applications are meant for C2B communication, customer to business. So now, so please try to understand once again, what is a web application? Why we need these web applications? So any application which runs over the internet is called as web application. Web applications we no need to download, we no need to install. Directly we can access with the help of internet and browser. So if you are accessing that web application which is developed by someone, you are called as a customer for that web application, or you will be called as a client for that web application. Now we all are clients for Facebook. We all are clients for Gmail. We all are clients for IRCTC, because we did not develop that project. Those projects done by someone. Those projects done by several companies. But we are accessing those projects from our computer, right? Then we are called as web application client. We are web application customers. We are called as clients. So they are doing the business. Facebook is doing business, IRCTC doing business, Gmail is doing business, but we are accessing those business operations. So it is called C2B communication. Web applications are meant for providing C2B communication. So inside the server, our project will be available. We are called as client. Client will use browser and internet to access those applications. All of you clear with this? What is a web application and how it is working in the real world? Project will be developed by one company, that will be deployed to a server. That server will be there in a machine. Using internet, several people will access from several locations. The people who are accessing, they are called as clients. So it is client to business or customer to business model. Customer to business model. Web applications are providing customer to business model. All of you clear with this one? So with this we understood what is a web application and how it is running. Right. Now using Java we can develop these web applications also. We have servlets, we have JSP, we have EJB, we have JSF, we have struts, we have Spring MVC. So several approaches are there, several technologies, frameworks are available in the Java in order to develop these kind of web applications. So Java supports for standalone application development as well as Java supports for web application development. Along with this, we are going to develop distributed applications. The main agenda of our this course is how to develop distributed applications using Java. How to develop distributed application by using Java. Now first of all, why we need to go for distributed application? What is a distributed application? Why we need to go for these distributed applications in the market, and why this much demand is available for distributed application? Why this much demand is available for distributed application, we need to understand. Now first of all, distributed applications. The application which is communicating with another application is called as distributed application. The application which is communicating with other application is called as distributed application. The application which is communicating with another application is called as distributed application. Now you may get a question, yeah Ashok, why one application should communicate with another application? Why one application should communicate with another application? So we are clear with this. What is distributed application means? Here I'm going to take one project. Now I'm taking one project with project called A. This is my project A which is running in one system. Then I'm taking one more project with a name called B which is running in another system. So there are two projects are available. Now project A is talking to project B for some operation. Project B sending some response to project A. Now these applications are called as distributed applications. My project A is talking to project B for some operation. Then project B sending some response to project A. If you are doing such kind of operations in your project, then your project is called as distributed project. Your project is called as distributed project. It is called as distributed application. Now, so project B is doing some business. Project B is doing some business. Project A also doing some business. So one business application communicating with another business application, it is called as B2B communication. Web applications are called as C2B communication, whereas distributed applications are called as B2B communication. So they are doing B2B communications in the real world. Web applications are meant for C2B communication, distributed applications are meant for B2B communication. C2B nothing but customer to business, B2B nothing but C2B and B2B. C2B nothing but customer to business, B2B nothing but business to business. Business to business. All of you able to understand what is a distributed application? The application which is communicating with another application is called as distributed application. So if one application talking to another application, then that application is called as distributed application. Distributed applications are providing B2B communication for us. So all of you able to see my screen? What are the diagram I'm drawing? People from GoToMeet, can you see that? Yes, for you it is visible. Yep, for Zoom. Yes, right. So we are trying to understand what is distributed application and why those what operation, those what business model they are running. So B2B is the business model for distributed application. Now the question is why one of here we understand for web applications it is clear. One user want to perform some operation, then end user will talk to web application. But now the question is why one application need to talk to another application? What is the real purpose of distributed application? Why we need distributed applications? Why we need distributed applications? To reuse business services. Why we need distributed applications? Distributed applications are used for reusing business services. They're used for reusing business services. To reuse business services, we will go for distributed application. Right. Now, what do you mean by reusing? What do you mean by reusing? Now, assume that there is one company called XLT Global. There is one company called XLT Global. Let me take it here. Yeah, XLT Global. XLT Global company is available. Now let me keep it here below. XLT Global company is available. These people developed a project called payroll process. These people developed a project called payroll process. That means, so some of you are already working. Every month your payroll will be generated, your pay slip will be generated, you will get the salary based on your package, how many days you attended the office, right, how many hours you worked for the office. Based on that they will calculate your salary and they will calculate your PF amount. They will calculate income tax, they will calculate your medical bill, they will calculate room travel allowances, HRA. Based on that, some calculations will be available in the industry, in any company, to provide the salary. So that is called as pay slip. Right now, who is going to generate that pay slip? So we need one software in order to generate, because pay slip will not be same for all the employees. So every employee pay slip will be different, because every employee salary will be different. Now suppose I may have 5 lakhs package, you may have 6 lakhs package, someone is having 10 lakhs package. So according to our packages, our payroll should be processed every month. Our payroll should be processed every month. That is called payroll processing. So every month, last working day, I think today is the salary date. Some people got the salary yesterday itself. Yes or no? Some of working people are there in your class. So today is the last working day of the June. So software companies will give the salary on the last working day or before last working day. My company gave salary yesterday itself. So before one day of the month of, before one day at the end of the month, company will provide the salary. Some companies will provide on last working day. Some companies will provide one day before last working day. right? So salary processing. So do you think that for everybody the payroll process will be same or payroll process will be different? For every employee, payroll process will be different. My payslip will not match with any other person payslip in my team because my package is different, my team members package is different. Right? My package is suppose 5 lakhs, my team member package is 6 lakhs, some other member package is 10 lakhs. So based on our packages, calculations are going to change, formulas are going to apply. That is called payroll processing. Now, there is a company called XLT Global. The people who are working in CGI, Capgemini, Deloitte, these people can see this XLT Global payslip generation. Payroll processing you can see. So those companies will use this XLT Global payroll processing. Now, XLT Global spent a lot of time. They have done a lot of analysis, research and development. Finally, they are able to develop one application called payroll processing. If you provide employee details, employee ID, employee name, date of birth, and if you provide employee package, they will do the calculation of the salary per month and they will generate a payslip also. That is payroll processing. For payroll processing, they developed one complex application with a very complex logic because it deals with money. So suppose if you go for a company called TCS, almost 3.5 lakh employees are there. Every month for 3.5 lakh employees they have to generate the payslip. If you go for Accenture, same 3.5 or 3.3 lakhs employees are there. Every month they have to generate the payslip. So if you go for a company called Capgemini, almost same 3 to 4 lakhs people are there across the world. For those many people, every month payslip has to be generated and everybody payslip is not going to be same, so everybody package will not be same. So for generating that kind of payslip and do the payroll processing, XLT Global company has developed one complex application with complex logic. Very good. So they developed a project, they have very strong team, so they spent years of time for analysis and for calculations and all those things. Finally they did it, they are in the market, payroll processing. Similarly, ADP is also one kind of company. ADP is also a payroll processing company. ADP will generate payrolls for several companies in the market. That is the business of the ADP. ADP will do payroll processing only. The main business of the ADP company, you might have seen in the Somajiguda we have ADP company nearby Kottagudem circle. When you are going from Minds that Cyber Towers to Google office, their ADP office is there. That is also will generate payroll processing for several companies. People are getting salaries because every month pay slips are going to generate, payroll processing is going to generate. Now XLT Global is the company which has done the payroll processing. They spent a lot of time. Assume that 3 years of time they spent with 50 members team. Within 3 years they are able to complete that project, that is tested. It is working perfect for all the employees in any company. It is working perfect for all the employees in any company. They spent almost 10 crores budget. 3 years development happened. They spent almost 10 crores or 50 crores. Assume that some amount they kept as an investment and they completed their project development. Finally, they did it. They are able to generate the payrolls for the people. Right. Now, here I am starting my one company. Assume that this is my Ashok IT. So recently we started this last month, right? Now, I recruited some people. In my company. Now, every month I need to provide salary for my employees. Every month I need to provide salary for my employees. Now, assume that I recruited 100 members. So we started software development. I recruited some freshers and some experienced people and some trainers I recruited. I established a startup company with 100 members team size. Now for these 100 members, I need to generate payroll. For these 100 members, I need to generate payroll. Now, in order to generate the payroll, do you think that I am also going to develop this payroll processing by investing 10 crores and 3 years of time? Is it possible for me to invest 10 crores? Not possible. So we don't have that much budget. I don't have that much money and I don't have that much time also. My company started last month. Right now, this month I need to provide the salary for the people. I need to generate the payroll, because for everybody I cannot give the same salary based on the experience, based on the number of days they attended, based on those, and based on income tax reductions, based on provident fund, based on HRA, based on ESI amount. Some calculations will be there in the payslip. Now, in order to do that, I need a application. Manually generating the payslip is very difficult. Manually I cannot check each and every employee payslip, right? Each and every employee payslip I cannot generate manually. So I need one project which can automate my payroll processing, which will automate my payroll processing. Able to follow this? Now, in order to do the payroll processing, I need a project. I need a project. Able to follow this? Now, so for XLT Global Company, it took 3 years and they spent 10 crores. 3 years of time they spent, and the budget of the project was 10 crores. They developed it. Now, if I want such a kind of payroll processing, then what I need to do? I should also spend 10 crores or maybe extra, because nowadays 3 years back they started, now they are able to complete. Now, if I am starting for next 3 years, I need to spend money. Definitely it will be more than 10 crores, because every resource cost is increasing. Duration, I can decrease the duration. They start with 50 developers, I may recruit 100 developers, but budget is going to be more. And I don't have that much time and I don't have that much money. But I want that kind of a processing. Then tell me what I need to do. So do you suggest me what is the solution I need to follow? What is the solution for my Ashok IT to generate the payroll for every employee who is working for Ashok IT? So what is the options I have? What are the options I have? I need answers. I need answers. What I need to do? What are the suggestions you people will provide me? Now, will you suggest me, hey sir, you are good in Java, please develop the payroll on your own. Sir, you are saying that you are Java experienced person, 8 years experience, real-time expert, working professional, so many things you will say in the demos. Now, why don't you develop your payroll project for your company? So, is that the suggestion you are going to provide? Is that the suggestion? No, that is going to be a wrong decision. If I think like that, that is going to be a wrong decision, because I need to spend 10 crores per project and I need to spend 3 years to develop that project. Even if I start it, I may be successful in that business or I may be failure in that business. I may be successful or I may be failure in that business. So instead of investing that much money and that much time, I just will interact with their business logic. I will make a business deal with the XLT Global. Hey XLT Global, so I came to know that you are running payroll processing for the companies. So can we also do business? Now, I also have here one startup company where I have 100 employees. For my 100 employees, I want to generate payroll. Can you provide me your business service? Can you provide me your business service? Now it is a startup software development company. So I assume that it is a startup software development company. Right now, here I have here one project, software development startup project. I developed one project with a name something like this. Right now here, instead of I am developing everything in my project, right? What I will do, I will establish a communication from my project to XLT Global project. I will give my data to the XLT Global. XLT Global will generate the payslips and will give to me. XLT Global will generate the payslip and will give to me. So my application is communicating with XLT Global application. So my application is communicating with XLT Global application, that is called distributed application. Ashok IT is doing one business, training business, development business they are doing. XLT Global also doing a business. One business application is communicating with another business application to use the business services. So somebody already developed the logic, they spent a lot of time, they spent a lot of money, they are success in that business, that is proven. I want same kind of logic, I want same service, I want same business operation. Instead of I am doing that operation on my own, I will do business with the XLT Global. Hey XLT Global, every month I will give you 1 lakh. Every month I will give you 1 lakh. could you please provide me your service? Could you please provide me your service? Now, at a time, instead of spending 10 crores, I will pay 1 lakh rupees for the XLT Global to generate payrolls for my employees, to perform payroll processing for my employees. That is called business communication. Ashok IT doing one business. XLT Global doing a business. As part of Ashok IT business, they need the business operation which is implemented in the XLT Global. So Ashok IT project will communicate with the XLT Global project. This is called B2B communication. If my project is communicating with another project like this, these applications are called as distributed applications. Now read the definition. What is a distributed application? The application which is communicating with other application is called as distributed application. So what is distributed application, guys? Go through the definition. The application which is communicating with other application is called as distributed application. Now tell me, why we need distributed application? From last 10 to 15 minutes onwards, we are trying to understand why we need these kind of distributed applications. Can anybody tell me why we need these kind of distributed applications? To reuse business services. If one application already developed a business service, then why we need to develop same service again? Let us reuse. Let us reuse. So this is one use case. This is one use case where we need to go for distributed applications. Right. Now let me take a second use case. Let me take a second use case. Right. Now, so here assume that there is a company called IBM. There is a company called IBM. IBM project. This is IBM company project. Right. Project. Now IBM company is doing service as well as manufacturing also. Now IBM people developed one device. IBM people developed one device, one hardware device they developed it. The specialty of this device is it can communicate with clouds. The specialty of the device is it can communicate with the satellites. It can communicate with the satellite. Now let me make it big. Satellite, cloud. Right. In order to communicate with the satellite, IBM people developed one device. Now assume that this is device of IBM. Right. The device is connected to one project developed by IBM, one application, one web application or one API which is developed by them. So this is one app. Now this app is connected to this device. The device is connected to satellite. The device is connected to satellite. Satellite will give the response to the device. Device will give the response to application. Device will give response to application. This is the application developed by IBM. Assume that this application developed by IBM. So as IBM people developed a project which is connected to a device is connected to satellite. Based on that, they can get weather forecasting information. Now you might have seen in the news channels, they will say that tomorrow there are situations for raining. Right, tomorrow there is no chance for rain, like that. We are able to forecast that weather information. Right, we are assuming that tomorrow rain will come, Tufan is going to start, some kind of weather informations we are going to see. And what is the temperature? They will give you a temperature for a week also. They will guess that today it is assume that 25 degrees, tomorrow it may be 30, day after tomorrow it may be 18, like that. So temperatures for a week they are going to guess, because they are connecting with satellites and they are checking the weather conditions and they are getting the details. They are getting the details. Now in the IBM project they are able to display those weather forecasting details. In the IBM project they are able to display weather forecasting details. Now assume that I am developing one application. I am developing one application. I am developing one application. Right. My requirement is in my project also I want to display weather details. In my project also I want to display weather details. I want to display weather for next 1 week. I want to display weather details for next 1 week. I want to display weather details for next 1 week. Right. Now tell me what I need to do. Can I write a Java program to interact with the satellite? Can I write in my application? I'm developing one Java project. Assume that we developed a project recently, ashokit.in, our website we developed. Now, in this website, I need to display weather forecasting details. Today in your location, this much is the temperature like that. I want to display weather forecasting information in the below somewhere. Here I want to display some weather. Here I have some space in this. I want to display weather forecasting. Now, can I write a program to communicate with this satellite directly? Can I write a program to communicate with the satellite? Come on. Yes or no? If I know how to write a Java program to communicate with the satellite, I will be in the NASA. I will not be in the Hyderabad or Amirpet. Right? If you know how to write a Java program to communicate with the satellite, we will be in the NASA or ISRO somewhere. We will become a scientist. Right? So we don't know how to write a Java program to communicate with the satellites. Are you able to follow me? So we don't know how to write a Java program to communicate with a satellite. Then what we need to do? Then what we need to do? Then what we need to do, sir? We need to do business with the IBM. We need to do business with the IBM because they are already in the market. They are already completed that application which will provide weather information, which will get the weather data from the satellite. Now this application is from Ashok IT and this application is from IBM. Right. My Ashok IT project is doing some business, software developments we are doing. We want to provide weather data in my project. That is the requirement. Even if you see in mobiles, in the smartphones, in the home screen, weather information will be displayed. Like today temperature is this much. Like that you will see the data on your screen. Right. So similarly, in my website, I want to display that data, but I don't know how to communicate with the satellite from my program. But already IBM done that. They have done lot of research. They developed their devices. We don't know what they developed, but finally they are able to communicate with the satellite. Now, if I want that weather forecasting data in my application, two options I have: write a program and talk to satellite directly, or make a business deal with the IBM. Make a business deal with the IBM, which is easy for me. Making a business deal with the IBM is easy for me because I will pay the money, immediately I will get the service. But if I want to talk to satellite, I need to spend some money, I need to spend some time. I don't have both. Able to follow this? Right. Now here my website, my project will do business dealing with the IBM company, then my project will talk to IBM. My project will talk to IBM for accessing service. Now IBM will provide me a response. Now these applications are communicating. One project is communicating with the another project. So these projects are called as distributed projects. These applications are called as distributed applications. If one application is communicating with distributed, so if one application is communicating with another application, then those applications are called as distributed applications. Then those applications are called as distributed applications. Guys, are you able to follow me? So what is distributed application? Could you please respond? If one application is communicating with another application, then that is called as distributed application. Now tell me, why we need these distributed applications? Why we need these distributed applications? Response. Why we need these distributed applications? For accessing business services which are developed by other projects. As part of my project, I want to access business services which are developed in other projects. Then we will go for these distributed applications. Now, Ashok IT is doing a business. IBM is also doing a business. So, one business application communicating with another business application, which is called as B2B communication, which is called as B2B communication. This is the second use case why we need to go for distributed application. This is the first use case I have given you. This is the second use case why we need to go for distributed application. First use case I have given you, payroll processing. Payroll processing developed by one company. The remaining companies are going to access the payroll processing. Right now, second use case, weather forecasting. Information can be captured by IBM project, but from that project we will capture that weather forecasting. Our project will talk to IBM project. This is use case 2. Now let us see use case 3 also. Let us see use case 3 also for distributed application. I hope all of you clear with this. I am removing this diagram. Right now, third one is use case 3. Now let's talk about our Indian government. Now our Modi ji made that Aadhaar card is mandatory for everyone. Aadhaar card is mandatory for everyone. So for this they developed one Aadhaar project. Right. This Aadhaar project is having one database. Aadhaar database is available. So whoever enroll for the Aadhaar card, their details will be available in this database. So central government is maintaining this project, right? Now, so Aadhaar project is connected to this database. So all Indians Aadhaar details will be available in this database. Our Aadhaar project is connected to this database. Now it became mandatory for every employee and became for every Indian. For every Indian, Aadhaar number is mandatory, which is a unique number providing by our central government to recognize your identity. Right. I think 3-4 months back, our people made this CNA or some rules are mandatory, right? Lot of issues happened in the government as well as in the public. So which is used to recognize identity of the Indians. So if you are a true Indian, if you are a real Indian, then you should have that identity, that Aadhaar number should be there for you. Then only government will recognize that you are a Indian. Now, so suppose assume that in your house, one kid born, you got one kid. Right now, for your kid, you want to generate a Aadhaar number. So you will go to Aadhaar center. So in Maitrivanam also one Aadhaar center is available in Hyderabad. So you will go to that Aadhaar center. There you will provide your kid details, your kid photo, all the details. Then that project will enroll your kid for the Aadhaar and they will generate one unique number for your kid as a Aadhaar number. They will give you that Aadhaar number. Now finally your kid is a real Indian. He has identity. He or she has an identity. They have a Aadhaar number. Fine, you got the Aadhaar card also. Fine, happy. Now, after 1 month or after 2 months of time, in your company you got on-site. So you want to travel to UK. Your company asking you to travel to UK for 6 months of time. The opportunity they provided is you can travel to UK for 6 months of project work along with your family, accommodation, flight tickets, everything will be taken care by company. Now you got that best opportunity to go for on-site. Now, so you as an employee, you are maintaining a passport also, but your wife and your kid don't have passport. So without passport, you can't take them along with you for UK. Now what you need to do? For your family members, for your wife and for your kid, you need to apply a passport. Now, for applying for passport, we are having one passport project. Able to follow this, sir? We are having one project which is called passport application. I think all of you already applied for the passports. If anybody don't have, please apply. It is important. It is mandatory for attending interviews in the MNC company. Now passport. Passport is also maintaining data in one database. Passport also having its own database. Passport also having its own database. All passport details of the citizens will be stored here. Both are government projects only. Aadhaar is a government project, passport is also a government project, right? Now, here, end users can communicate with the Aadhaar. End user will communicate with the Aadhaar project to apply for a Aadhaar number. End user will communicate with the passport also to apply for a passport. End user will communicate with the passport project also to communicate to generate a passport. Now, but nowadays what has done is, if you want to apply for a passport, Aadhaar card is mandatory. Now our government brought this rule. If you want to apply for a passport, Aadhaar card is mandatory. Are you able to follow this? So when you are applying for a passport, you will fill one application form. In that application form, they will ask your Aadhaar number. They will ask your Aadhaar number. Can you give any random number as a Aadhaar number, or you need to provide a valid Aadhaar number? We need to provide a valid Aadhaar number. So where the Aadhaar details are available, where the Aadhaar numbers are available, Aadhaar numbers are available in this database. Here Aadhaar numbers are available. All the Indian citizen details are available in this Aadhaar database. Now if I give Aadhaar number in the passport project, can passport project verify my Aadhaar number is valid or not? Can my passport project verify Aadhaar number is valid or not? Come on, I need a response. Can it verify my Aadhaar number is valid or not? I will give 1 to 10 numbers I will give. Can it verify my Aadhaar number is valid or not? No, passport don't have access for that. Passport don't have access for that. Aadhaar details are available in the Aadhaar database. Aadhaar details are available in the Aadhaar database. Now, my passport cannot verify, my passport application cannot verify my Aadhaar number is valid or not. Then what this passport has to do? Passport application should communicate with the Aadhaar application. Passport application should communicate with the Aadhaar application to verify. So now end user will give the Aadhaar number in the passport project. Then passport project will communicate with the Aadhaar application. Hey brother, please tell me this Aadhaar number is valid or not. That is how passport will talk to Aadhaar. Then Aadhaar application will check in the DB, does that passport is valid or not. If the passport number is valid, Aadhaar will say, brother, yes, this is a valid Aadhaar number. Then passport will allow you to create the application for passport. If Aadhaar says that boss, this is not a valid Aadhaar number, then passport will stop you to apply for the passport. Right? Here, two applications are communicating again. This is also a business to business communication. Passport application doing one business, Aadhaar application also doing a business. As part of their business, they are communicating with each other. That is called as business to business communication. Such kind of applications are called as distributed applications. Now, end users will talk to passport. End user will communicate with passport. End user will communicate with the Aadhaar, right, for their operation. That means here, if end user is communicating with the Aadhaar, this is called as C2B communication. This is called as C2B. End user is communicating with passport. This is called as C2B communication. And passport is communicating with the Aadhaar. This is called as B2B communication. This is called as B2B communication. In the real world, we are going to develop our applications like this. So in one web app, Aadhaar is a web application. Passport is also a web application. In that web application, they are providing C2B as well as they are providing B2B. In the real world, we are going to develop our applications like this. So our application will provide C2B communication as well as B2B communication also. All of you able to understand what is C2B and what is B2B? Is it clear for everyone? So I hope all of you understood what is distributed application. You got it? What is distributed application? Clear for all of you? Now any questions? I tried my best to tell you what is distributed application. I gave you 3 use cases for distributed application. The reason is the next 40 days we are going to develop distributed applications only. Our RESTful services and microservices are used to develop distributed applications only. That's the reason 3 use cases I have explained related to distributed applications. Right, guys. Yeah, why we need distributed application? Now you can answer this question. To reuse business services. So use case 1 I have given. Ashok IT application wants to talk to XLD Global, which is payroll processing. Use case 2, so I have given Ashok IT wants to talk to IBM weather forecaster, IBM weather app. Use case 3, passport application wants to talk to Aadhaar application. So these are the several examples of our distributed applications. Right. So using Java, what type of applications we can develop? Using Java, we can develop CUI and GUI based applications, which are called as standalone applications. Using Java, we can develop web applications like client server based applications. Using Java, we can develop distributed applications. That means one application can communicate with the another application. Standalone applications we need to download and we need to install in every system to use them. It is specific to one machine. Eclipse, if I install in my system only, I can use it. If you want to use, you have to install in your machine. Right now, next one, web application. The application which runs over a internet is called as a web application. Web applications we no need to download, we no need to install. Anybody can access web application from any location using browser and internet. Example, Gmail, Facebook, IRCTC. Coming to distributed application, the application which is communicating with other application is called as distributed application. Right now, web applications provides C2B model. Web application runs on C2B model. C2B nothing but what? Customer to business model. Now distributed applications runs on B2B model. Application runs on B2B model. B2B stands for business to business. B2B stands for business to business model. Are you able to follow this? All of you? Right. Now, sir, what are the technologies that are available to develop these kind of applications? For developing standalone applications, normal Java, JSE, Swings, applets we have to develop right now. So in order to develop our standalone applications, here we can use JSE. We can use JSE to develop standalone apps like CUI and GUI based applications. We can develop by using this. In order to develop web applications, we can use servlets, JSP, EJB, JSF. EJB comes under again enterprise. Right now we don't use this EJB for web application. JSF, Spring MV struts, outdated framework in the market. Then Spring framework, Spring MVC we can use to develop these web applications. To develop web applications, we have these options in the Java community. Similarly, to develop distributed applications, we need to use below things. To develop distributed applications using Java. We will use one is web services, another one is RESTful services. To develop distributed applications using Java, we will use either web services or we will use RESTful services. So why REST is having this much demand in the market? Using REST we will develop a distributed application. Using a web service we will develop a distributed application. Now web services, SOAP based web services. So only 10%, 20% of the projects in the market using SOAP, the remaining projects are using REST. That's the reason we are going to concentrate more on the REST. But I will give you one example related to SOAP also, so that you can say that we are experienced person on the web services as well as RESTful services, right? So tomorrow we will understand from where these web services started, from where these RESTful services started, what are the several frameworks or APIs are available to develop web services and RESTful services. Thank you. See you tomorrow.